Hi, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Tales from the Coven. And as always, if you're new here, I am Mistress Siren. I am your hostess. And today we have my beautiful friend all the way from Wisconsin.
Yes.
I love this technology that we can do this. It's so amazing.
I know. This is an awesome platform, actually.
Josh, would you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Joshua. I own El.Serpentio jewelry and now vintage. Been established for a little over a year. I've been doing kind of these things though for all my life. So just over a year under this umbrella. I'm in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I was born and raised here. I am Mexican and Irish. So I do add a lot of that into my makings and craftings and history.
I love how you do that.
So yeah, I just work out of my home. Yeah, yeah, it just makes everything for me worth it and more special and more unique. So yeah, I'm doing all my business out of my home right now. My full-time job, my muggle job is I'm a visual manager for Target. I've done visual all my life, which kind of goes hand in hand with what I do really. Like it's just all creative work.
Right. It's all creating.
So yeah, that's me. Yeah, exactly. It's all artistic. Yeah. Aesthetic.
Just in different settings. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I'll give a little background because I also want to add that we have become very close over the years.
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
Years now? Probably a little over a year. Probably.
A little over a year. Yeah, I think like a year and a half.
And
yeah, time flies.
I know. I was like, whoa. I'm just getting older and older and older.
Right.
But the really great thing is like we connected through social media and just really like clicked, really hit it off, right? And
for sure, yes.
I really love Dave and I were talking about our trip out to visit you probably next year, wedding.
Yes, for sure.
But I was like, it's so amazing that you can find people on this social media thing, whatever. And you get such a connection and they become such a big part of your life. I just think it's amazing.
It's crazy. And then we also because Andrew knew my brother from the sisters.
Right.
And so then that's how I came along. And yeah, so it's crazy. It's good. It's awesome.
It's very awesome. I really love it. So for like all of you people who, maybe watching us now and feel like you're isolated, maybe you're in a part of the country where you don't have a lot of other people that you can talk witchy stuff with or spirituality with.
Yep.
Take that chance and reach out to people, even if they are across the country now, take that chance, reach out and really, make those connections because they're out there, you guys. Trust me, they're out there. This is right here, this living proof.
I mean, I live in Milwaukee, which is a pretty darn big city. But me and my brother were talking. There's not a lot of magical community here, so
really, I would
even if in a big city, you might find someone.
Wow.
Not that I know of. There's a lot of crystal metaphysical shops, but this is different. I don't know. This is just different.
It does. You just don't feel that community there with them, really.
Yeah, right. They're all kind of separate.
Yeah, that sounds like. Yeah, that's that politics stuff too. So,
exactly. Yeah.
Tell me, Josh, a little bit about what you do. I mean, I know. Tell everyone else.
Right. Okay. So, for my businesses, El.Serpentio, I create a lot of jewelry. Using crystals, genuine leathers. I do a lot of stuff with stainless steel because I am allergic to a lot of metals. So there's people out there and I want it to be accessible to everybody. So I like to either use stainless steel or if I'm sourcing, I like to get sterling. stuff that you can wear and not have allergic reaction to, because I've had so many problems with jewelry and being allergic to metals. I also got into resins. I like to pour tons of resins with different uses and creations, some basic or some for just aesthetic, but a lot for magic.
Yeah,
That's like my newest, funnest thing.
isn't it? Isn't
Thank
it
you.
so much fun? Isn't it so much
It's
fun?
just addicting.
It is.
And then
I
getting a
know.
new mold is the most magical thing.
And then
Someone
you're like,
asked me like,
"Ooh, I want to put this in here. Oh, I can put this
uh-huh.
in here."
Someone asked me, why don't you do candles? And I said, like, candles are awesome and valid for a lot of people, but for me, there's no like instant like not I don't want to say instant gratification, but like the magic of unmolding a resin is just that's what drives me. So it's like just fun.
Oh, and it's a rush. I mean, it's
It
so
is.
good, but it
Yeah.
really
Yeah, it is. It's exciting. I wake up like it's every morning when I wake up to unmold something because I'll do it overnight. It's like Christmas morning, so it's awesome.
I always run in the house and I have to show Dave. I'm like,
Yeah,
look how this
right.
looks. So cute.
Exactly. And my husband too, and he's like, okay. But yeah, so I make lots of jewelry, lots of resin pieces. Uh, I've been doing some markets in Milwaukee. The place where my husband and I got married, and where I work part-time, is a wedding venue on one side and a bar on the other. And I've actually known the owners for maybe 10 years now. I've kind of like grown with them because they used to be in the small, like little hole in the wall bar in Bayview. And now they got this multi-million-dollar building in close to downtown Milwaukee. But they're amazing. They're extremely supportive. They're like my non-magical community that I like turn to for that, for like, they're just awesome. It's a big family. But they let me set up anytime I want, either inside the bar if it's during winter or outside on the patio if it's during summer, free of charge, just to get my name out there. And so I could do it every weekend in the summer if I wanted, and they'd be just fine
They'd
with
be
it.
stoked for you. That's rad.
Yeah, they're extremely supportive and amazing people. Dell, who's the owner, she's amazing, and she's just created this amazing business and community, and her husband. So yeah, so I do those. I do online sales. A lot of people love me for my themed. I love a theme.
I was just gonna
So
say, I love that you do the themes. You took the words out of my mouth.
yeah, it excites people. It like, and there's a audience for every theme. So I like to cover everything. I had this thought a couple weeks ago. I did a smaller like Chinese New Year sale, and I had a thought about it that later on I wasn't sure if that was my place to do that because I am not of that ethnicity. But in the same time, people are like, no, but like you were giving your like your version of it, and you were giving like the magical community like tools to use for that if they're interested in that. So I'm still, verdict is out on that kind of thing, but
I was gonna say, I didn't think it was what's the word I'm looking for? Like where you were trying to like take over that tradition, or
right,
you were educating and you were taking your twist on it.
right.
You weren't kind of, what I want to say, like not acting as a quote unquote colonizer and taking what they had.
Right.
No. So
Yeah.
I didn't take it that way at all. Like,
Well, that's good to hear because I wasn't sure how I felt about it, but
well, and you're doing
we
that.
learn.
I was just saying, you're doing that work where you're like, oh, and you're going inside and you're thinking about it. So that right there shows me that you're very conscientious of it. So you weren't doing it in any kind of negative way, you know?
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. But yeah, so like, we did our Luck of the Irish.
Yes.
We have our Egyptian live coming up with my brother and Willow.
Yes.
And then in May, we have Aztec Live, finally.
I would have
Um,
thought you would have done that way
I
sooner.
know it's taking some work because a lot of the Aztec items that I have that I want to work with and use in resins or in jewelry is not easily findable here in the United States.
I guess
Um, if I had time to go to Mexico before I did this live, definitely.
you should
um,
visit us, and we could just drive to Mexico.
yeah, heck yeah, right. My husband and I went to Mexico City the weekend after our wedding, and that's where the Aztecs lived. So there was just it was amazing. So one day I will be able to do that again. Anyways, so
And remind everybody, when is your live, the Egyptian live with
the Egyptian live is the 6th, April 6th.
Okay.
So
Okay.
coming up. Yeah.
So we will definitely have this up by then.
Yeah.
So for them to be able to find you, let's hit that right now. For them to be able to find
Yeah.
you for this Egyptian live, what is your Instagram?
It's El.Serpentio.jewelrio with just periods in between each word. Yeah, give me a follow on there. Trying to build up my followers. I post all sorts of flyers on what's coming up and what's happening. And then usually after a themed live, I'll put whatever's remaining of those items on my story sale for like a little bit of discount. So you can still get those items even if you miss it. But also like Siren does, we post it up on our page too. So you can rewatch the whole thing if you want.
So on that note, let's say someone watches a live and like from the transformation one that you did this weekend, which was amazing.
Thank you.
Let's say like one of the butterfly plates. If you sell one, can you, if someone wants to like contact you, can you make something obviously not exactly similar? If
I can make any kind of one-of-kind piece you want, customs. I do the custom wraps as well. So if there's a specific crystal you want,
I have a couple.
Right. If there's specific ones of those you want, I create them. I just had somebody that was actually on the vintage live last night that saw my resins because they let me kind of mix in some resins, so that was cool.
I saw that was cool.
Yeah, I obviously went with ones that are like aesthetic, but they contacted me already for some customs. So
right on.
Yeah, so it's exciting. So yeah, I can make anything you want. Awesome. Customs I usually do like a week if it's something I like a material that's maybe going to be a little longer to get a hold of, but a couple weeks at the max.
At least they know if they watch it, then they can always
do up for something similar. If you see something that was sold and you're like, dang, I can make you another one. It's going to be special and unique in its own way, but it'll be the majority of the idea will be there.
Sorry.
The doggies.
Yes, I don't know what they found outside that they need to buy,
right, but
there's something. Okay, so talking about your vintage too. Something you just kind of started, but so you're finding are freaking amazing.
Thank you. I'm very particular when I go sourcing. I like to find stuff that's something that I would be interested in. Like I vary a person where it's like I am looking for stuff that I want to represent me.
Right.
Someone asks, where'd you get that from? I with both sides of my family, my grandma who was from Mexico and my mom, both extreme thrifters. So I've thrifted all my life. It's
an addicting thing.
Yeah. I thrifted all my life and antiques mauled and all my life. And it was always like the excitement as a kid, which, as a kid, my fun and excitement was going shopping. Like that's all I wanted to ever do. And that's still all I ever want to do.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. So it just, the vintage part came naturally. Honestly, when I started doing, jewelry wise, I started doing jewelry probably when I was like 10 or 11. And my aunt, who was a social butterfly, but She is like the biggest networker I know. Now she's the one that lives in Savannah now.
Oh, you're
Yeah,
down there.
I
Those
know.
are amazing. Oh,
Yeah. But she would get me, she'd have some kind of networking. She's an esthetician. She'd have some kind of networking thing at this like trendy bar in downtown Milwaukee. And here I was, a 12-year-old, selling my jewelry in those bars and
that's
clubs.
rad.
Yeah. So she'd get me in, even if it was a bar. Obviously, like, I wouldn't be drinking or anything,
Right.
and I'd sell my jewelry. So that was a long history of that in the making. And then, like I said, the thrifting we've always done. And when I'm doing my vintage and antiques, I want to me, like the items. So the reason I'm so attracted to crystals is because to me, crystals and stones are like basically alive, right? Like they have history, they have meaning, they have properties,
energies.
And I relate that to vintage because vintage, I mean, it connects like the past and the present. Like these items have been through stuff. They have been owned by people. Their energies are in it. So in a way, even though it's just a material item, to me, those are also kind of like alive and, they have their history. So to me, they really go hand in hand.
And I feel like too, with a lot of vintage, like a lot of modern things they're made so cheaply and they're made so
awful.
disposable,
Yeah.
basically just you use it for a couple months and you throw it.
Yeah.
Where those pieces of vintage where they were meant to be there for a long time and they
right.
have a certain aesthetic and feel that goes with them. So I get that. Totally.
It's cool. It's really cool to me. So I'm never going to try to sell something that's new or older-ish. Like I want genuine, like cool,
the good
stuff. And because I don't want to just make money on it. Like I want people to love these items the way they've already been loved all their life so far. So yeah.
I totally agree. And feel like a lot of times when it's a vintage piece, it finds you.
Yeah.
Like you could be looking for this one forever, and then you're like, oh, that's it. That's what I need for this spot in my house, or that's what I need for my house.
And that's what I'm finding with a lot of my vintage is so far it's hard to sell some. Yeah.
I know. We've told our kids that, I mean, our kids know because they like vintage stuff too. But it's like, do you know what we have in this house?
Right.
Like the amount of vintage stuff in our house is one insane. We have a problem. But my daughter's like, yeah, I could probably retire just from your shoes.
Right. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, and even like in my grandma's house, like she has a whole collection of the like swung vases. They're like the colorful vases, from the mid-century modern, like yeah. And she just has like all the old Avon, like her house is like a vintage shop as well. So it's
You're like, Grandma, come over here, go shopping.
Yeah. She said I could. She's like, just don't tell your grandpa. So so yeah.
Another super interesting thing that I would like you to talk about.
Yeah.
Is the goddess that you work with.
Yeah. So when I first like met you and when I first came into like Coven and all that, I knew a lot of magical things. A lot from my brother, who's been into it his entire life. So I knew a lot about crystals already and certain stuff, like moon cycles and horoscopes and all that kind of stuff. But I wasn't really into, or I didn't know much about deities yet. It was a little foreign to me. I like knew of like the Egyptian ones and the Celtic ones and the Norse ones and the Roman, Greek ones and all that. And I knew of Aztecs. I'm pretty sure my grandma, if somewhere down her line, she has Aztec in her because she's from Mexico City, the area that they were from, and she's very native features. either Aztec or Mayan, but her family really never was in the Mayan area, which is like the more tropical part of Mexico, the more southern. But like one night, I don't know, half a year ago, I had a dream where Koyo Jalqui is her name, which means it's like loosely translated to like who she's adorned with bells. So she has, in most of the depictions, she has bells on her face. Some say that it's actually like metal bells, like I don't know if they were pierced on or what, but others say they were just tattooed on.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, but she came to me in a dream. I didn't know who she was, so I had to do my research and figure out who she, who I saw.
Right.
It was very like, it was a night dream. It was very moon. She is the goddess of the moon. It was very moon. I just always remember like the moon was really yellow and the sky was really purple. Like it was really cool.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was like, it wasn't dark as in like scary or anything. It was just it was awesome. So I had to do my research on her and I found her and I'm like, this is who it was. So I just did more research and started like looking her up and talking to people, and yeah, it just became a thing that was who wanted to work with me and who I wanted to work with. So she's been around for a while.
How beautiful though, like that she just came
Yeah.
to you in this dream. And
Yeah, because I've never ever looked up like specifics on Aztec god or goddesses, So, but I somehow knew that's the other thing is like the dream related to my grandma, like the warrior strength and the all that. Who she's still alive. She is 80. I can't remember exactly what because time flies, but she's still kicking it. She is still going shopping, thrifting with me.
that's so cute.
Yeah. I like to say Mexicans last forever because
Well, my father-in-law is 94.
yeah.
So
See? Yeah. Which is exciting for me.
I know Dave says he's going to outlive me, which is probably true.
Probably. So yeah, she's become my goddess. I've had Willow create some scents for me to work with her because there is not hardly anything available for her. That's
the other thing I was going to ask, because when you guys were when we were all talking about that, and I'm by no means there. I really don't know Aztec culture, but I had never even heard her name.
Right.
And that's why I was like, this is really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, she's a interesting. She's not one of like the major deities of the Aztec pantheon either. Tlaloc is the rain god. He's probably one of the most popular ones. There's some others. So the loose story is that Koyo's mom, who was the mother of, she was the goddess of like Mother Earth. She became pregnant. I kind of related to almost like the way that Mary became pregnant with Jesus, just kind of like it happened.
Right. That immaculate conception.
Yes, right. So she was very upset and her other siblings were very upset. And they thought that it was bringing dishonor to the family because she became pregnant, but she couldn't explain it. So they planned this war on their mother, led by Koyo. And when they were ready for this war, when they got to wherever the mother was, she was in labor with the baby that she became pregnant with. I know the names of like most of them, but like they're way too hard to say, so I'm not even going to try to butcher them. Look it up and read if you want to hear about the story. There's some awesome YouTube videos.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'll send you the one that I really like.
Yeah,
this guy,
a really interesting story.
Yeah, this guy created used like the artifacts they have found of her in Mexico and like used AI to like reconstruct her face and all that. So it's a pretty cool video. I'll send it to you.
Oh yeah, send me that. That sounds neat.
Yeah, it's neat. It's like 20 minutes. So she was in labor. She had the son, and little did they know he was being born as the god of war. He had this serpent, snake-like weapon, a golden snake weapon, that he was too strong for Koyo to defeat, and she was dismembered into many pieces and thrown into the sky and was turned into the moon. And then her siblings, it was like four, I can't remember if it was 400 or 4,000 right now.
Wow.
Her siblings, right, were turned into the stars. So Koyo was turned into the moon and her siblings were turned into the stars and they were defeated.
Oh.
And they were that video was explaining, like, even though she's a defeated goddess, like she's still very strong and very celebrated in the Mexican culture even today. So that's why her original, can't really see too well, but the painting that my aunt did on the, I think I showed you.
You sent me a picture.
Yeah, so when they found that at the Templo, buried, it's a carving and it's in the shape of a moon, and she's in a round shape, and she's dismembered. Well, it's the round shape they carved it into the round shape to show the shape of the moon.
For the moon.
So they say, like, even in today's moon, you can see her body parts. So yeah, she's a very strong deity, even though she was defeated, and she is really cool to work with. There's a lot of stuff about, like, that she was the one to bring the winter months in. And so, like, you'd have to read about it because it's hard to explain all of it. But it's like the winter can always be defeated, and that's kind of what she was defeated. So there's double-sided about, like, her being strong and her being defeated. So, but she's my goddess, and I think she's amazing and strong.
And she picked you, obviously.
Yeah, she did. She really did, which I'm grateful for because I didn't know.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Really so cool. let's do a little recap. So Josh has got to get to work, guys.
Yes.
Fun.
Right.
Definitely go and follow.
Yes, that would be awesome.
Jewelrio.
Yep.
On Instagram, and we'll have a link. I'll put the link underneath here.
Cool.
So make it easy for everybody. Just click that right over to you. Like I said, I'm drinking.
Yeah.
Favorite one now. My daughter tried to steal it yesterday.
Oh. Tell her to hit me up.
Yeah. So I was like, I'll just get you one, okay? But I love yours. I wear your jewelry a lot, and I've got your resin pieces, throughout my house, because for me, even though I do resin, I like your magic too. Like, it's
always something. Yeah, it's always different to have somebody else's stuff.
It's different, and I really love the feeling, that you put into it, and the intent and the emotion. You can feel it when you get the pieces. Like, it's really beautiful.
Well, thank you. I appreciate
that. Like your brother said, the other day, and I was like, it's true. We all have own magic, and that's a beautiful thing. I think that we all have a little different spin because we're all different humans,
Mm-hmm.
And to be able to share that with each other, I think is freaking awesome.
And that's why I love buying crystals from you. Like, my favorite thing about magic is working with crystals, and I buy them from you because I know you've touched them and they have your nurturing ways in them and your motherly nurturing ways. And, like, so that's why I get them from you. I don't like to buy them just from anybody. Like, that's not what I need them for, Right.
No, I agree. I mean, there's, even like when we go to, like, the big gem shows and that kind of stuff, if I pick one up and it just feels ugh.
Yeah.
I'm not buying from that person because I don't want to then send that to anyone else. Like, I go through and I'm like, okay, no, it's over here.
Yeah.
I think that's really important.
Very important, and very, like, a way to, show how, like, your care and your intent and all that. So I really like to, yeah. And that's why we're a coven, because I think I know we all like genuinely put our heart and soul and everything into the products that we have.
Exactly.
Like,
you totally just, you hit the nail on the head.
Jen's products, like, I feel like the love, and your stuff, I feel the closeness, and
You really can. And that's, again, that goes back to you guys, reach out to people. If you're feeling
Yeah.
isolated, like, most people who are doing the witchcraft or the spirituality or whatever word you want to call it.
Right.
I don't like to put a label because certain labels freak certain people out.
Yep.
That are really doing it for the right reasons.
Mm-hmm.
If you reach out to them and you're genuine,
Mm-hmm.
most of the time they'll be there, they'll help you, they'll give advice.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say all, but most people feel like they want to help. They want to help people feel connected,
Yeah.
So reach out, people.
100%. And you can be, you can be unsure of whether this is a path for you or whether you want to do this. My brother laughs because I always say I'm a Jewish witch. My husband is a Jewish bruja, I should say, because I'm Mexican.
Combine both.
Yeah. My husband is Jewish. I haven't converted or anything like that. He himself, he knows the traditions and he knows the holidays and he knows a lot about them. He did celebrate them loosely as a kid. So we don't put any one label on ourselves either. So if you can do you. Your magic can be for whatever you need it to be.
And you can really, I think, essentially call it whatever you want. It's
100%.
The intent that you're putting in, the work that you're putting in.
Yep.
That's what matters. Not if you want to call it brujeria or you want to call it witchcraft or you want to call it shamanism. I mean, each one, yes, does have its own separate thing. I'm not lumping everything into one. But
what I'm saying is, like, don't be afraid to mix and make your own traditions, your own culture, your own,
that work for you.
Yeah.
For you, because obviously we're all mixed,
Yeah, right.
We're all a little bit of everything, So it's like I think it's kind of in our nature to go, oh, this resonates with me from these.
100%.
This resonates with me from these ancestors, And I think that's okay as long as it's done with respect.
Yeah, of course.
Respect for those traditions. I think that's actually really natural.
100%. So just make it you, and just if you need help in that journey, Siren is an amazing resource. My brother Abracadabra, thank you, is an amazing resource.
Yes, definitely Abracadabra.
Yeah, just join in on one of Siren's lives, and you get to meet all of us. We have a fun time.
I was just gonna say, and I like how we too, we just when we go on any of our lives, it's just all of us. We're talking. It's hanging out. It's community. It's making that community stronger every time.
Exactly.
It's cute.
It is.
Well, Josh, thank you very, very much. I appreciate.
Thank you for having me. I was nervous about this, but not because of just I wanted to speak my stuff.
It's different. It is, and when you haven't used this little system and stuff,
but this is really easy, and it's a great,
isn't it?
Platform. Yeah.
The first time I used it, I was like, oh.
Right.
Oh no! I was making Dave do it with me in the other room, so I could figure everything out. But it's pretty easy.
Yeah, I love it. Well, thank you for having me, my love.
Thank you, and I'm so excited for my new stuff from Transformation One.
Yes, packaged it up and we're ready to go. Your portal is really cool. Your portal, yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, love you.
Love you too. All right, I'll text you later. Bye.
Bye. And as always, guys, thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for listening to us. We appreciate you taking your time out of your busy schedules to spend some time chatting. All right. Have a beautiful day, everybody. Blessed be.